question about the subjects.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Command, talk today.
Oh, what a compliment. For that, I thank you.
What is happening now? There are hopeless and hungry.
Now it's time for us to stand up to God or we fall to nothing.
It's time now for Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Listening to the general public, what the public is saying.
And good afternoon, Radio Cayman Nation, and a happy Thursday to all of our loyal listeners. We hope you and your family had a restful and joyful Christmas and Boxing Day. As always, you're tuned in to the station of the nation, Radio Cayman, and I'm your guest host, Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Thank you for letting us into your homes, cars, and offices for today's episode of Talk Today. Today on our show, we will be featuring the Hope for Today Foundation, here to discuss their Park and Ride initiative for New Year's Eve, along with a two-part series on New Year's resolutions featuring Andre Morgan of Train with Dre and Miss Claire from Plastic Free Cayman. As always, we do welcome your feedback and questions and invite you to join the conversation. Simply dial 1-800-534-8255 or 949-8037. Stay tuned for Talk Today following this brief commercial break.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in for today's show, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And we're pleased to have in studio Mr. Brent Hides and Mr. Ivan McLean here to discuss the Hope for Today Foundation Park and Ride program. Good afternoon, guys.
Hey, good evening.
Well, welcome in. Did you have a good Christmas, first and foremost?
Awesome. And a Christmas that goes by and find me clean and sober and above ground. It's a beautiful day.
Amen, brother.
Good for you. How about Boxing Day? Was Boxing Day just as relaxing?
Just as good. Yeah.
Did you get any good presents?
Yeah, man.
All right, you gotta get fill in on this one. What was your top present? I like to ask everyone like their top present of Christmas.
Sobriety.
There you go.
Yes,
that's for sure.
And I was going to be
that is the top shot.
And I was going to basically say the same thing. In the holidays that goes by, and I'm able to be the son that God has produced me to be to my parents and my friends. It's an awesome day.
Yeah.
You know, it's an interesting one. You said I'm a father, so my Christmas gift was make sure my son was with me on Christmas Day.
How awesome.
So a fantastic one. And,
yeah.
That's good.
But I did get a camera.
I did get a horseshoe set. So let's be I got my horseshoe set. So Brent, come on, you got to fill us in now. What was that other tangible item?
Well, for me, just getting a call from my daughter.
Good for you.
Who lives in Canada after being separated from her for over 20 years. She's now 26, and to be able to establish a healthy relationship with her after all that time apart is probably one of my best gifts. Is to have her message me or to call me during the holidays. After today, it still just brings goosebumps to my flesh.
Good for you, sir. That's a very heartwarming story, to say the least. And that's congratulations. Merry Christmas to you.
Yes, sobriety has given me that.
Good for you. Well, that brings us to the topic of today's conversation with the Hope Foundation. So talk to us a bit about the Hope Foundation, its inception, how it came to be, and where it is today.
Again, like our prior conversation, what we recognize is that individuals who has been going to prison or even going through sometimes a level of treatment, there had to be an alternative. and that alternative just were not here. So what you got was a bunch of recovering addicts who are so brilliant and coming up with plans, because believe me, we're smart people. We're really, really smart people. We came up with this idea of establishing a halfway house. And a little over 10 years ago, we were able to establish the Hope for Today Foundation, which was completely embraced by the Department of Rehabilitation and Probation. And ever since, and I'll tell you, the rest is history. We have assisted many Caymanians in this community struggling with substance abuse, and we're able to help them get back on their feet. And that's what the program was designed for. Now, we help them get back on their feet, and the rest of the work is theirs. The program at the time was designed for 6 months. Today we have extended that program a little longer. So we've extended now to 8 months to a year, depending on how the individual have came into the program, whether they're doing a level of treatment at the counseling center. Because there are programs at the counseling center where an individual may be involved with the drug rehabilitation court, which kind of slows down their job opportunities because their program is fairly intense. So we have to look at where the individual is, what he's doing towards building his recovery. So that individual program may be extended a little longer than 8 months.
What was the inspiration to change the program length of time from you mentioned 6 months to 8 months?
Well, we recognize the fact that most of the individuals are coming in from the drug rehabilitation court. When they come in from the drug rehabilitation court, they're going to the counseling center for many different programs, relapse prevention. They're going to IOP, which is an intensive outpatient program. Anger management, all these things plays a major factor on the decision that the foundation would make on determining how long the individual will actually remain at the home.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much involvement does the counseling center and the drug court themselves have with that decision?
They don't make the decision as how far the individual will stay at the home.
Okay.
But we work very closely with the drug rehabilitation court.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Now, I believe you mentioned before the show started that there's 2 separate entities?
Yes, there is.
For half
yes.
For housing? Yes. How long have both of those been in operation now?
Well, I can tell you they've both been around a little over 10 years.
Okay, both of them.
Yeah. What I don't want to get into this and the buts of why it is, but we've been around.
That's fair.
Yeah, we've been around.
That's fair. More than a handful of years.
Yes.
The second one.
Yes.
The Bridge Foundation.
Yeah.
Now, talk to us a bit about the Bridge Foundation. That's the second home? Or that's one of the homes? Okay.
The second organization. But they provide, in essence, the same type of services.
Okay.
But they're not as... They came into existence and online after the whole foundation was formed.
That's fair enough. And as far as involvement with other government entities currently, the foundation funds the operations?
We both work with all of the government entities that focus on rehabilitation and prevention.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And as far as, your personal involvement and your personal desires to see the whole foundation continue to function as a viable entity, what was your personal drive and motivation to launch these initiatives?
Well, I think for both of us, we had a message to carry, and we wanted to see every Caymanian that was struggling out there with substance abuse issues to have a safe and clean environment that they could call home, and not to necessarily have to focus about a job, a place to live, and all of that stuff. So we provide that service for absolutely free. And we want to take away that worry so that the individual can then just focus on themselves and their recovery and what they need to do to move forward.
Fantastic. Ivan, yourself, as far as anything to include on that?
Well, it was a needed service.
Yeah, of course.
Us as recovering addicts, especially in the early stages of recovery, going back into the environment that we just came back out of is a challenge. There are some of us that came out of environments that was quite supportive of us, but not of our disease. drug use. So those that was a difference in some of our environments. However, when we're coming from a home that is supportive of us, but not of our addiction, I can tell you from experience that even when you go back into that environment, it is the slightest sound, the slightest smell, or that look, that can trigger my siblings, be that my brother, sister, wife, mother, whatever.
Whatever it be. Yeah.
And what you doing? Why you doing that? Where you going? And I can tell you that sometimes that is as challenging a circumstance as going back into an environment where there's active addiction and active addiction going on around us. So the halfway house was a safe place, and that we can have one another's support, and that is an imperative part of in the early stages of recovery, having that support system that is founded in staying clean no matter what, going to a meeting, having someone to talk to, having someone that can identify with the thoughts, the behaviors, the smell, sound, sights that might be triggering a response, a thought in myself, in itself, and having that and that place with those type people that are there for the same reason and safe. It's a safe environment, because if you get loaded, you're definitely out. You can't be under the influence and then every other client or resident, if you want to use that term to describe the people that reside there, for them to be compromised, their sobriety to be compromised by the one person that has made the ultimate choice to drink or drug.
And just to add to what I was saying, someone that understands that sometimes tough love is what's required. Yeah. Because sometimes he spoke about going back to the family dwelling. Yeah. So sometimes we need that tough love, because sometimes our family, what they do, even though they want us well, but they continue to love us and love, and sometimes that love is only enabling our behavior.
Yeah, it can be as detrimental by enabling us, and it can also be as detrimental by continually judging us. Because if I'm 5 minutes late, if where you've been, or we're being approached at the door in micro inches away just to get a smell of your to see if you're loaded. That I can tell you,
so you're always under
the struggle
pressure.
is real for an addict, and it is that newly found integrity, value system, that sense of I can feel the change, hear the change, see the change, smell the change, and now my counterpart, be that my parent, brother, sister, whatever that picture looks like, they're challenging that. Right. And I'm telling you, emotionally and mentally, and without a doubt, the ego, that new ego,
yes,
that gets offended real easy. We really are, as tough as our exteriors and our mouths can be at time. In the dynamics of environments and situations, in the active addiction, we're really thin-skinned. Most addict alcoholics are quite sensitive individuals.
Of course. So fragile, you blow too hard on it.
Yeah, man.
Of course, and it makes sense. It definitely makes sense for why well, I guess stepping back into even a familial, what would be considered a helpful environment can still be a trigger.
Absolutely,
because you are facing a very fragile
Yeah,
scenario when you step in there.
Yeah. We're just learning about who we are and how we're feeling and be able to identify that. This is after years, many years, a lot of years in many cases of suppressing those feelings, whatever they were. And, yeah.
Gentlemen, I want to hear more about this. As soon as we get back from this break, let's take a quick 2-minute break. Right back. More Talk Today right after this.
This Health Flash is brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Over 65 million people around the world have moderate or severe COPD, a family of diseases that includes emphysema and chronic bronchitis. Cleveland Clinic, Florida offers a wide range of management and treatment options for COPD, including programs focused on education, medication, smoking cessation, and pulmonary rehabilitation. A team of experts is ready to review your symptoms and test results to develop a comprehensive treatment plan. For more information, visit clevelandclinicflorida.org.
Research shows that domestic violence increases during the holidays. Financial pressures, family pressures, work pressures, all of these play a part. So don't let the pressures of life take over. Choose to diffuse the spousal arguments before they begin. Most people experience their greatest anger when they feel dismissed, ignored, or misunderstood. Many people instinctively avoid naming their fears, and it's all too easy to mistake sadness and fear for anger. So if you feel like you're heading for an argument, or you find yourself getting angry, stop for a moment and ask yourself, am I reacting to a feeling of loss? Telling someone else what you're sad about or afraid of means that you're willing to let down your guard and be honest. And they may react by doing the same. A quote from ahealthyplace.com says this: "Remember, from every wound there is a scar, and every scar tells a story. A story that says, I have survived. Turn your wounds into wisdom."
The Stop the Slap campaign, proudly sponsored by Foster's IGA. Stop the slap. Stop the cycle. Stop the violence.
Who's the leader in savings?
It's Foster's.
Ring in the new year with Foster's IGA. Cook a delicious New Year's roast or have us prepare your whole dinner. Is cooking on your list of New Year's resolutions? Let Tanya's Kitchen help you out. And with great savings from Foster's IGA, this may just be the one resolution you actually keep. Visit tanyaskitchen.ky for recipes and inspiration. From all of us at Foster's IGA, Priced Right, and Bay Market, thanks for shopping with us in 2018.
At Foster's Food Fair IGA, we care.
Eats Cafe Limited. They do it right with 3 restaurants and a diverse choice of tasty dishes. There's Eats Cafe, Yossi Sushi, and Legends Classic Grill. There's always something for everyone. Eats Cafe Limited, 30 years in Cayman, bringing you Radio Cayman CI Retro, Talk Today's special Cayman Islands Historical and Cultural Program Series.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in for today's show, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and we have in studio the Hope for Today Foundation, Mr. Brent Hyes and Mr. Ivan McLean, here to discuss their Park and Ride program for New Year's Eve. So, gentlemen, let's segue into this part about the show and actually talk about what you're here today to promote, which is the Park and Ride program.
Well, what we're really here to promote is play it safe. Over the holidays, and part of that is not to drink and drive. And if you're going to drive, try to reach out for some help with a designated driver. Use the NDC bus. The Hope Foundation has made ourselves available with me and Mr. Ivan McLean and Mr. Richard Purvey. And we're there to help. We're an alternative. And I think Ivan kind of touched on it a little earlier. You don't have to sit around and wait on the bus. If you need some help, you could call either one of us, and we'd be happy to pick you up, take you to and from your destination. You just have to call, give us a time to be picked up, time to be dropped off, and we'd be happy to do so.
So now, just for clarity for our listeners, this is a New Year's Eve program designed to act as a pseudo chauffeur for those looking to make their way out for New Year's Eve and make it back home safely.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, not out. But if you're out
if you're
reached that point
Correct.
of inebriation that you've qualified yourself to not want to drive, we can be called. If you want to move now, as opposed to having to go to the bus, which is the NDC is providing a service, and that being a bus service, that my understanding of that, and has always been my understanding of it, that goes at particular times.
Correct.
If you have reached a point where you know or feel you need to get home, or get out of the environment, that's where the thought was about we'll go now to do it. We don't take you to the dope man or take you to the rum shop or to another place. We take you home. So if it's home that you want to go, that's us. But it's a free. There ain't no tip involved. It's just a matter of a free ride home.
It's a very noble. It's not something you hear about very. We've heard of the NDC bus for a number of years, and it's not the first year for the whole foundation's initiatives. But it's very noble service on New Year's Eve when it's one of those big festivity times a year. Everyone is out, and it's a very noble initiative to actually offer up a service that one helps quite literally saves people's lives, and which unfortunately while that should be the tipping point for most people, it's probably the saving the money part that's probably going to be the clicker for a lot of people.
Think of how unselfish we are.
Absolutely.
I mean, just think of when everybody is going out and enjoying himself. We're just kind of sitting patiently playing a little dominoes and enjoying our afternoon and just ready and willing to help someone else. I think because, as addicts and alcoholics, we can probably be the most selfish, self-centered person there.
In active addiction. We're well practiced.
On the art.
Yeah.
I've never heard it put as eloquently as that before, but I'll take it. We'll take it.
One of the things to be cognizant of is the fact that not everyone's a problem drinker. It's only out of every 10, there's only one of us that is a problem and perhaps will become a problem. However, the matter of the service is those normies, as we call them in recovery, you that can drink without most times without consequence. You can have your load or have drank successfully and safely. However, when you mix that with driving, that even though you might not be an alcoholic or an addict, the consequences of driving under the influence of alcohol at a level of consumption, it not only challenges your ability to drive the car properly, successfully navigate the roads, it compromises not just your safety and others, and that can be life changing. And we've been fortunate to have survived or passed. And here we are. We know what the consequences look like as an active addict. And we do recognize that most people are not like us. However, the small token of contribution that we were able to give to the mass, because 90% is a hell of a lot bigger than the 10 of us. We can provide a service. If we sit around in the evening There's some of the people that have sponsored us. Some of the monies go to food and drink, and both halfway houses offer a place, a gathering place for the recovering addict that they can hang out during that
crucial time.
Yes, and we're beating down those drinking water, soda, and if the phone rings, we're out the door to help someone get from wherever they're celebrating to home.
And this is island-wide.
This is island-wide.
So if you're on 7 Mile Beach...
and you gotta go East End, we're going to take you.
East End, you're thinking...
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It's an amazing...
If it's to represent
of course,
safe return,
of course,
absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I'll put down a plate of turtle meat to go help someone in that respect. And I can tell you that's saying a lot.
Good on you. Not many will put down that plate. Let's be very fair and honest.
Yeah, I'm quite challenged to do it, but I'm willing to.
There's a few morals being wrestled with, but you're going to overcome. Yeah. So the service starts at what time on New Year's Eve?
They can call. Well, I will probably pick it up in the afternoon, but during New Year's, they can call me at any time.
Yeah. Anytime, straight through past New Year's Day into
10,
early
10
morning.
from 10 o'clock at night.
Anytime. And even if there's someone out in the daytime.
In the day, absolutely.
Okay. If there's someone out in the daytime feel he's been to Lone Star and had too much and he needs a ride home.
Yeah.
Why not?
We're definitely going to be hopefully bright-eyed and bushy-tailed up until about 4 o'clock, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So, and even if we have retired for the evening, and that has been the case, I think last year with Brent, he was asleep and the phone went off and he got up and went out. So, if that be the case, it'll.
And I mean, the next day even going to be even more challenging because I made a commitment with Honourable Tara Rivers to help her out in her New Year's Eve family fun day too. Okay. But what is life? Sometimes we face challenges and we do what we got to do because it's all for good in good community spirit.
Of course.
And we believe that when the community gets together, there's nothing like it.
And how can they actually get a hold of you guys to actually recruit you for the service on New Year's Eve? What are the numbers they can reach you at?
547-1869.
So that's Ivan is 547-1869, and Brent?
And they can call me at 928-9099.
So that
and they can call that number anytime during New Year's Eve.
Anytime New Year's Eve. So once again for our listeners, Brent's number was 928-9099, and Ivan's was 547-1869. Now we just had a great question just come in. Any potential thoughts on including this service over on our sister islands in Cayman Brac down the road? Is there any opportunity for this to be expanded? Because it's a great service, especially New Year's Eve. It's a fantastic service that I think, coupling with the NDC's Purple Ribbon campaign, it offers this very holistic, comprehensive scenario. We're just missing that gap on the sister islands. Can we see this expanding? And if so, how do we make that happen?
I think it's an awesome idea. I think if they contact Ivan or myself, there's sponsors out there that will be willing to provide the gas and the opportunity for them to do so. We'll be happy to do whatever we can to make it work. So it's just a matter of fact of getting two people that are not so selfish and become more selfless and volunteer their time and come out and believe and help the community to make it home safe. Because remember, if somebody gets hurt, there could be a father, a son, a mother, a daughter. We just want to make sure that during these holidays that people are fine.
Brent, thank you so much. On that note, Brent, let's take a quick commercial break. Any of our listeners wanting to join the conversation, call us at 1-800-534-8255 or 949-8037. We'll take a quick commercial break and be more to hear more about the Park and Ride program right after this break.
The holidays wouldn't be the same without a little boom from Fireworks Limited. Cayman's biggest firework discount megastore is now open behind Massive Equipment in Industrial Park. Fireworks Limited has a megastore full of new fireworks and offers huge volume discounts. Stock up early and save big with free gifts with every purchase and the biggest variety of products on island. Fireworks Limited is behind Massive in Industrial Park with tons of parking. Open until 6 p.m. every day except Sunday and open until 8 p.m. on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve.
Research shows that domestic violence increases during the holidays. Financial pressures, family pressures, work pressures, all of these play a part. So don't let the pressures of life take over. Choose to diffuse the spousal arguments before they begin. Most people experience their greatest anger when they feel dismissed, ignored, or misunderstood. Many people instinctively avoid naming their fears, and it's all too easy to mistake sadness and fear for anger. So if you feel like you're heading for an argument, or you find yourself getting angry, stop for a moment and ask yourself, am I reacting to a feeling of loss? Telling someone else what you're sad about or afraid of means that you're willing to let down your guard and be honest. And you know, they may react by doing the same. A quote from ahealthyplace.com says this: "Remember, from every wound there is a scar, and every scar tells a story. A story that says, I have survived. Turn your wounds into wisdom."
The Stop the Slap campaign has been proudly sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Stop the slap. Stop the cycle. Stop the violence.
I need a bank that is convenient for me.
What do you mean?
I need a bank that has easy-to-find locations and plenty ATMs when I need cash on the go.
Oh, well, that's easy. You need to bank with Cayman National. They have 7 customer service centers and 23 ATM locations. The newest one is at the East End Post Office, and I hear there's more to come.
Well, sounds like I need to bank with Cayman National Bank, the convenient bank, because they seem to be everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. Cayman National is everywhere. Surely they are Cayman's convenient bank.
Cayman National Bank. We're here for you.
Headlines.
With the latest headlines.
All
the news when you want it. Tune in to Radio Cayman for hourly headlines of the day's top stories.
One of Cayman's bright and shining young stars.
Local, regional, international.
Headlines.
Turning to international news. Updates on the hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. Radio Cayman News.
Headlines.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in for our show today, I am Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And we have in studio for the first part of our show, the Hope for Today Foundation, Mr. Brent Hayes and Mr. Ivan McLean, discussing their Park and Ride program. Gentlemen, let's turn the conversation back to you again. And how many years has this program actually been in operation now?
The Park and Ride, we've been doing it for 4 years.
4 years. And have you seen a volume of calls increase over that time?
Not necessarily a whole lot more calls, but there's one particular story that I would like to talk to you about, or talk to the community about. I remember quite well. There was a young man that supposedly had went out on the afternoon of New Year's Eve. And he was supposed to just basically go out and have a drink with a friend. That drink led to 2. 2 led to 3. And the 3 led to basically harder drugs. And by the time the afternoon was finished, all of his funds were completely depleted. That was supposed to go towards rent, buying gifts for his children, buying gifts for his wife. It was probably one of the most heart-wrenching stories that during my recovery that I've ever had to listen to, because I remember it real well. I remember making those promises. I remember so clearly, just making the promises to my family and my friends of what I would do during the holidays. And I've acted in the same careless manner, where I've made a choice and would completely deplete all of my funds. And after that, the remorse and the pain and the disappointment, not only with self, but with family members. And I part of the message is I would not wish that on anyone, that to say what you mean mean what you say. Show up when you say you can show up. And you can only do that if your head is clear from all mind-altering chemicals. So basically, I just want to get that out there. It was heart-wrenching to listen to that young man's story because it was quite familiar to me.
Fair enough. It's very deep, very profound story there.
Yeah.
The and if we jump back to the Park and Ride Program Initiative, do we see this program growing further in the future? More sponsors coming on to maybe encourage more drivers to join in and participate with you? Because you have 3 drivers right now.
Well, we're hopeful, but we'll do it anyway.
No doubt.
We'll do it anyway.
I have no doubt. You're very committed.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And then, again, the number for our callers to call in?
Yes, 547-1869 or 928-9099. Anyway, I just want to recognize Lobster Pot and Clean Gas and Peanuts and McAlpine and Junk and Foster's Food Fair for always being there, not only for the foundation but for this initiative. Just always stepping up to the plate, recognizing the fact that no matter how big or small it is, we all can make a difference.
Yes.
No doubt. And big shout out to those sponsors again. I mean, it's a very noble initiative to help come on to support, because they're not supportive of just this Park and Ride initiative. They're supportive of the Hope for Today Foundation
yes,
as a whole.
Yes, these are people that are regularly committed to supporting the Hope Foundation and their organization and recognizing the fact that Cayman is home to many people that are struggling with substance abuse, and without hope, they will perish. So, I just want to thank them for stepping up to the plate and supporting this initiative also.
It's truly a fantastic initiative. So just a reminder to all of our listeners, this is the Park and Ride Initiative. And so there's a number of initiatives that assist with curbing drunk driving on New Year's Eve. Can you rattle off that list for us, for our listeners? Because there's several options out here, and we want people to make sure they have all the options available.
Yeah, we just want to make the community know that besides for the Hope Foundation Park and Ride, there's taxis out there. There's the NDC shuttle bus. There's the Hope for Today Foundation Park and Ride. There's friends, I'm pretty sure, that can help you and just be a designated driver to take your to and fro. Play it safe this New Year's Eve season. Remember that when we play it safe, we not only protect ourselves, but we protect the entire community.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yep. And so the difference is, just so we understand the differences between the Park and Ride program and the NDC bus. I know, Britt, Ivan, before the show, we were talking briefly about the differences of them. But for our listeners' sake, what are those differences?
The buses, I think, are on a particular time schedule.
Okay.
The difference between that and us is if the drinker that was a driver has had his fill and doesn't, or he or she has had their fill and not feel safe, or are at the point where they would not be safe driving, they can call us. They don't have to go to a bus to wait for another hour or two. They can go right then.
Right then and there.
And one of the things is not just the fact that we ain't gonna go to a rum shop. The drive means from where you're at to home.
To home.
And not to a rum shop or the dope man.
Correct.
And if we're going to take you, paraphernalia and or open containers would not be allowed at all in our vehicles.
Okay.
So
for obvious reasons,
that is man. This is a safe ride home.
This is a safe ride home. This is
for sure.
This is like you
a free and safe ride home.
Exactly. You finish up your night of partying and you're looking to get home.
Yeah. For sure.
You don't have that ability to get home
safely by yourself.
By yourself.
Being your own navigator. For sure. It's one of the things that we one of the least that we can do to give back to our community, I think.
And again, that's a very, very noble initiative for you to take
remember
on.
You got all these people that promised to be up for New Year's, and by 11 o'clock they're ready to clash. They've already had their belly full.
Now, with regards to, because you mentioned the safety part of the element here, just for our listeners' sake, for those who are going to call, how can they identify the Hope for Foundation vehicles that are going to be out on the road if they call you? Because it is one of the elements of safety, is we want people that are showing to pick us up to be who they're actually going to be who they say they're going to be. Are your vehicles identified in any manner? Any hats, shirts, or anything?
Well, the Hope Foundation has a black Trailblazer.
Okay.
With a big old sign saying "Hope for Today."
Okay.
I have a gray Kia with Narcotics Anonymous emblem on its rear, but normally what has been the practice is when a wannabe rider calls, we say what we're coming in.
Okay.
I'm coming in a gray car. I'm dressed in a white shirt and a black pants.
Perfect.
What are you wearing? And then we look for that person. And it's not very difficult for a drunk to find a drunk or an addict to find an addict in and out of recovery. It's been pretty successful in that.
Especially on New Year's
just
Eve.
those simple, identification pieces.
Of course.
Okay. Yeah. It is work. That's what we use.
Perfect. Just to give our listeners a bit of a notice of what they can expect if they should call the service on New Year's Eve.
Right.
When they call, we would identify who they're talking to, and then when we show up, then they just ask, "Are you Ivan? Are you Brent?"
Perfect.
They know exactly who to ask for. Not, "Are you Johnny?"
And so our listeners know how many seats are we accommodating in each vehicle?
Well,
up to how many people can be accommodated?
My vehicle would be safe with 4.
Okay.
3 in the back, 1 in the front.
Okay.
Mine could be safe at 5.
Okay, so we're looking up to 5 people.
Yeah.
That need to get home to one location.
Plus,
for sure.
Plus, if there is a group up to 8 to 10 people, we do have connections to Mr. Richard Purvey.
Yes.
Who would be glad to assist and participate in the program.
And that's a minibus.
That's a minibus. So for groups of more than 8, there is a third party that we can
for sure.
That
we'll get you there.
We'll get you
safe,
home.
Sound. Like Ivan said, we're not taking you to a bar room or a dope house.
We're not taking you to your next place. Party place. We're taking you home at the end of it. This is your close-off call tonight. Gentlemen, again, it's a great ownership. So let's quick refresher then. This is the Park and Ride program as part of the Hope for Today Foundation. This is one of the many services available to anyone looking to get out on the general public on New Year's Eve, whether it be the Purple Ribbon Campaign NDC bus, as taxis that are out on the road, as Mr. Brent just mentioned. You can always do the buddy up system and have a designated driver.
For sure.
Or yourself, just stay off the alcohol for the night and be the designated driver yourself.
Yeah. Sober ain't a bad thing at all.
No, the kid's not.
What I want to say, if you are going to drink, don't drive.
Yeah.
Play it safe. Remember, the life you save, as they say, just may be your own.
Yeah.
Sure. Brent, you had mentioned a slogan that you had on your flyer there.
Yes.
This is actually a good way to close off this segment.
Isn't this awesome? Do not allow your pride and your ego to override good common sense. Don't drink and drive.
And those are fine words that could be used in a multitude of situations. But as I said, very, very wise words. So again, what are the numbers that they can reach you at if they need help on New Year's Eve?
You can call Ivan at 547-1869. They can call me at 928-9099, and we'll be willing and able to help God's will.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you so much again. I do appreciate
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And to everyone listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hayes, Mr. McLean. Appreciate you coming in.
I can do this now and get this to April.
We will give this to our newsroom.
To put this on the...
We'll make sure it gets on the news. Gentlemen, thank you so much. We'll send it back to Ms. Susan Watson for our news.
We are Radio K-Man, and this is how we wake you up in the morning. Praise time on Radio K-Man.
Sing your praise to the Lord. Come on, everybody, stand up and sing one more. Hallelujah, give your praise to the Lord. We are united in Jesus Christ. We are the soldiers of the Lamb.
Praise time.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
There's a meeting up in heaven. Roll call. He's a name in the Lamb's Book of Life. Roll call, brother, sister. Roll call. If you don't stop shouting, if you don't stop dancing, we're going to put you out of our church.
Praise time.
Jesus in the morning, yeah.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Your song flowed through my lips. Your work move through my hands. Your thoughts stay on my mind. Live in me.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
The Cayman Islands Airports Authority, CIAA, has confirmed a security breach at approximately 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday, December 25th at Owen Roberts International Airport. CIAA says a male suspect entered the airport customs hall, evaded an officer at a security checkpoint before entering the ramp and boarding an aircraft that was parked and undergoing maintenance. The suspect escaped capture and left the area, but then showed up the next morning at about 6:40 a.m. CIAA says he was immediately recognized and captured by airport security and RCIPS before entering the terminal. The incident is currently under investigation. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. Donald Trump's unannounced Christmas visit to U.S. troops in Iraq succeeded as a morale-boosting exercise, judging from the standing ovation the president got. Equally and perhaps predictably, the trip had its controversial moments, and his legendary attachment to social media had something to do with it. The alert level for Indonesia's Anak Krakatau volcano has been raised to the second highest level possible after a series of eruptions. All flights around the volcano have been rerouted, and a 3-mile exclusion zone has also been imposed. Indonesia's Disaster Management Agency said the alert level had been raised from level 2 to 3 because of the increased volcanic activity. Last Saturday, the volcano triggered a tsunami which killed hundreds. And Serena Williams has praised the introduction of more ranking protection for new mothers on the WTA Tour. Players coming back from childbirth or injury can use their previous ranking to enter 12 tournaments over a 3-year period. In addition, they will not face a seeded player in an opening round. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Happy holidays. Be responsible this holiday season. Designate a driver or let the Purple Ribbon Bus be your designated driver on New Year's Eve.
This message is brought to you by the National Drug Council, EK Online, Jake Scott, Foster's, Caribbean Engineering, RCIPS, and Radio Cayman.
This health flash is brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Over 65 million people around the world have moderate or severe COPD, a family of diseases that includes emphysema and chronic bronchitis. Cleveland Clinic, Florida offers a wide range of management and treatment options for COPD, including programs focused on education, medication, smoking cessation, and pulmonary rehabilitation. A team of experts is ready to review your symptoms and test results to develop a comprehensive treatment plan. For more information, visit clevelandclinicflorida.org.
Brandsource Home Gallery has been appointed the exclusive Cayman supplier for Duravit bathroom products. Duravit is the leading international manufacturer of bathroom ceramics, tubs, and showers, recognized around the world for beautiful, functional products. Winner of top industry awards, Duravit collaborates with leading European designers to provide the most elegant and innovative bath products. If you're ready to bring style, comfort, and innovation to your bathroom, visit Brandsource Home Gallery to see the new Duravit showroom and meet the in-house bath designer. Whether you're planning a functional family bathroom or a personal spa retreat, browse the Duravit collection and be inspired. Brandsource Home Gallery, delivering a new standard in custom designed bathrooms. Brandsource Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in for our show, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne D. Banks. And we're off to our second segment now, and we'll be discussing New Year's resolutions. And we're pleased to have in studio Mr. Andre Morgan of Train with Dre. Andre, how are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. I guess, can you elaborate, since you're in the fitness industry, and fitness and people getting back into shape or getting healthier has been the number one resolution for about 3 decades now. What do you make as a New Year's resolution if you've already accomplished a fitness goal? Or is further fitness goals part of your resolution?
Further fitness goals.
Further fitness goals.
Yeah.
So what are your fitness goals?
Well, for this new year, I actually have my own goal where I'm trying to put on about 8 to 10, maybe 12 pounds.
Okay.
So I'm trying to put on weight, which is obviously everyone's like, what? Who's trying to do that?
I've been saying that for 30 years myself, right?
Yeah.
Trying to put on weight.
Yeah, and funny enough, it's almost just as difficult as losing weight.
It's incredibly difficult. It's an amazing amount of stress that your body goes under putting on muscle mass.
Yep.
As opposed to shedding weight, but it's still just as shot. It's still the same mental preparation, planning, and work that goes into it.
Yes. Pretty much.
Because you're trying to put on healthy weight. You're not looking to put on just bulk. You're putting on healthy
muscles, lean muscles. So, okay. For my goal is healthy weight.
Yes.
But you do have people who put on. You have people who use techniques where they just bulk. They just bulk gain.
Of course, yeah.
They eat whatever, whenever. Their objective is to put on as much weight as they can, and then try and tone down while building and leaning out.
Of course.
I personally don't recommend that method.
Okay.
Because of what it does to your body. Because you're putting on stuff that you don't need. So, and you're eating stuff that your body doesn't need. So what you find that happens over time is you actually go under more stress. So the adjustment now would be where you try and do it in a healthy manner, where you follow certain principles, where you eat a certain diet regime, you follow a certain timeline. A lot of people don't pay attention to time. Time is important.
Incredibly.
So especially when eating. If you could eat on a schedule, it helps, especially for putting on weight. So you try and keep your eating habits and your eating times at the same place, consistent.
All right. Now, for those, we're looking at the opposite side of the coin. A good chunk of the population at this time of year tends to be looking, especially coming off the Christmas holiday rush of foods and parties and cakes and desserts and alcohol, whatever it might be, that's going into their bodies.
Yeah, which we all probably felt guilty of.
And that's just it, right? Like, this is the week when everyone kind of looks at the scale and goes, "Oh my, this is what December did to me." But they're looking at the 2019, and they're trying to accomplish a goal. And maybe this is the year that they accomplish that New Year's resolution. Unfortunately, while this New Year's resolution tends to be the most sought-after resolution, it's also the one that's broken most often.
Yes.
Coming out of the gym business myself, or the fitness industry, it is a scenario where I think gyms kind of rely on people signing up,
set those goals,
and then falling out
off.
a few months later. So we want to make sure that people that are taking on this initiative this year to live a healthier lifestyle, to lose whatever weight they want to lose, that they actually accomplish it, and then
successful.
stick to it. And it becomes a lifelong journey for them, versus just a 3-month stint. So what are some of the tips we can talk about mentally and getting mentally prepared for such a task? What can you offer listeners in this regard?
Before we even get to being mentally prepared, I'd tell you the first tip is to start. See, what you find a lot of times is that a lot of people want the resolution, and they'll go and sign up for the resolution, and they'll go and do a diet thing with this person and that person, sign up for 4 or 5 different things, all with the same goal of weight loss or meeting a fitness criteria, and then they don't start. So I would say the very first thing you got to try and do is to start.
So now, when you say start, for our listeners that might be novice and are just kind of looking at the daunting task of what starting means, it's as simple as starting up your car in the morning.
Yeah.
It's as simple as taking that extra 5-minute walk to work.
There you go.
Parking further away.
There you go.
What are some of the other tips you can offer listeners for getting started and getting that jump start going?
As simple as drinking water. It's
fantastic.
I'm pretty sure every health and fitness person that sits and talks on the radio or does an interview will repeat, you got to drink water. and it is one of the most. It is highly beneficial because the body is majority water, and it doesn't function well when it's dehydrated. So, the first tip would be to start drinking water. You'd be surprised at how much people don't drink 6 to 8 glasses of water per day. I actually have a client right now. If she's listening, she's probably smart because she knows her. She's been training with me about 3 months. And every day she walks into her session, the first thing I say is, "Hey, how are you?" Then I go, "What number bottle are you on?" And she comes to sessions at 5:36, and she's almost always on 3, just starting her 3rd bottle of water for the day.
As opposed to
she should have completed 3-4 bottles. She should have been. It's at the end of the day. It's at the end of the day now. Your day is wrapping up, so you should be at least 8 glasses. 1 bottle of water is 1 actual Aquafina or whatever.
Of course, yeah.
It's 2 glasses roughly, because you're looking at 6 to 8 for a glass. Yeah. So if you're using 6, then it's a little like a bottle is like a cup and a quarter.
No.
So.
Any tricks or tips you can? Because one of the things with water, and it's interesting because every trainer will say the same thing. Every athlete says the same thing. The amount of water you consume is so highly important. I think a lot of people tend to misjudge what they actually mean by drinking more water, because people are already currently not drinking enough. So when you say drink more, they think it's 1 glass extra a day, when in reality we're talking about 6 to 8.
6 to 8. There's actually
tall glasses of water.
There's actually a I'd have to look for it on my phone, but there is a formula that we can use to calculate based on your body weight and your age and your activity level.
Okay.
What's the recommended amount of water you should be drinking?
Okay. But on average, we're looking at 6 to 8 glasses.
On average, it's 6 to 8. 6 to 8. Because we're talking about people who work in offices. We're talking about guys who don't sweat a lot. Guys and females who go to work at 8, sit at a desk till 12.
Correct.
Go to lunch, drive in an air-conditioned car, get back to work 1:05, sit back at the desk until 4:35, then back to sitting. So there's not much activity, right? But even though you're not very active, your body can still become dehydrated. So, but because you're not as active, you're not feeling the effects of dehydration based on exercise or dehydration based on sweating and activity level. But what you find is something since we just ate a lot of food, something as simple as being constipated.
Yep. And that's legit. I mean, it's a fair scenario.
Because of the lack of water, they become constipated, and they're like, "Well, I don't know why I don't go to the bathroom regularly." Of course. Something simple as it's a trigger sign there. You're not drinking enough water. You're not having enough fiber. You got to change your diet and start being more fit.
All right. Now that's going to segue into our next conversation, which is always the big one. That's the diet element, right? But so first step is for any is more water, and the absence of not drinking enough water is once you start actually getting more physically active. If you have not consumed the necessary amount of water that your body needs to operate like a fine-tuned machine, just like your car, if it doesn't have the oil in it or it doesn't have the necessary fluids, it's going to start getting lethargic. It's going to start breaking down. It's going to start doing very, very awkward things, and it's not going to start running properly. And that's one of the key things with when it comes to the water element. For all of our listeners and that's why Andre stressed that water element so importantly, is if you are looking to achieve your fitness goals for 2019, a good start is to make sure you're actually consuming the water your body physically needs. If not, your goals are going to fail before you've ever stepped out the door.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And that brings us to the next big one, which we're going to briefly touch upon, and that is the eating element. So talk to us, Andre, as a trainer, from the trainer standpoint, how much importance is it on the physical activity as compared to the nutrition element?
Okay. Let's look at it this way. I have a race car.
Yep.
And it's unit. It's ready to run. But I never run it. So basically what's happening is I have a machine that can function, but I don't allow it to function. So the diet would be looking at it where the machine, in order to get it ready to function, your food, what you consume, what you do with internally, is what's going to give you the product, right? Now, exercise comes into that with it becoming functional when you actually use it in function. So now you're looking to lose weight and you're looking to meet your goal. You start changing your diet. So internally, the machine becomes functional. So now you're tuning the car to be able to perform with it. Now, you got to make the next step now and put the exercise in there. So now the machine is actually functioning. So now that gives you the opportunity to see where there are weak points and where you should make adjustments. And that gives you improvements. So the weight loss works in the same way. You start eating right, start making the meal adjustments, and start taking certain things out of your diet and putting healthier things into your diet. And then your body becomes functional, and you'll feel the difference. If you've ever asked anybody who's gone on a diet, like a big diet thing now is there's the fasting, intermittent fasting. There's OMAD. There's doing keto diets, and most people there. I did one the other day for myself where I did no meat for about 5 days. No meat, well, fish only. So fish and everything else was beans and fruits and vegetables, right? And what you find out, what I found from my personal experience was that my energy level went back up. So like I was thinking quicker, I was reacting quicker. When I rested well. Like, so that was me now tuning my internals to be able to function. Then after I finished that, I started back incorporating a little more exercise. Because as a trainer, people think, oh, trainers get to use the gym all the time. Sometimes we don't, especially when you get really, really busy, right? But then when I started back doing my exercises and stuff, I was feeling great. So, yeah.
All right. We have to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to elaborate more on the nutrition element and some tips that we can offer listeners to enhance their chances, again, of meeting their New Year's resolutions.
Sure.
Back with more Talk Today right after this.
Getting ready for Christmas is all about the finishing touches.
The icing on the cake, the table neatly set, decorations specially placed, and gifts thoughtfully wrapped, all to share with those we love.
Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.
Brit K, where people come first.
Brit K's offices close at noon, December 24th and 31st.
Visit BritK.ky.
Stay connected and share your favorite holiday moments with Flow. Pick up the Alcatel A1 from $70 or the Samsung J2 Pro, packed with sweet features from $130. Every week you can win cash and prizes in our Cash Cube when you top up. Also check out our weekly top-up specials. Visit Flow's Facebook and Instagram pages to follow the deals. Plus, top up $25 or more for plenty chances to win great Flow holiday prizes. So make it Flow for everything mobile this Christmas. Visit discoverflow.ky for more. Terms and conditions apply.
Brandsource Home Gallery has been appointed the exclusive Cayman supplier for Duravit bathroom products. Duravit is the leading international manufacturer of bathroom ceramics, tubs, and showers, recognized around the world for beautiful, functional products. Winner of top industry awards, Duravit collaborates with leading European designers to provide the most elegant and innovative bath products. If you're ready to bring style, comfort, and innovation to your bathroom, visit Brandsource Home Gallery to see the new Duravit showroom and meet the in-house bath designer. Whether you're planning a functional family bathroom or a personal spa retreat, browse the Duravit collection and be inspired. Brandsource Home Gallery, delivering a new standard in custom designed bathrooms. Brandsource Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in for today's show, I am Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and we have in studio Mr. Andre Morgan of Train with Dre, a personal trainer here in Cayman, and we're discussing tips to help all of those listeners who are trying to achieve a New Year's resolution of healthier lifestyle and any particular fitness goal, to help them achieve those goals by tackling some basic, simple steps that tend to be overlooked along the process. And we start off Andre made a great point of simply just getting started by, one, maybe potentially increasing your water intake, which for a majority of people, we do not consume enough water. And two, just getting started, whether it's taking that extra 5-minute walk in the morning, whatever it might be, to just get your body going. And before the break, we were touching on the food and nutrition element of working out. And it's one of the, again, overlooked parts. We tend to look at fitness and we think of the bicep curls in the gym, squats, or running on the beach, or we look at all the things that people are doing. And what we don't tend to see when we look at those fitness videos is what is happening at home and what those people are actually consuming when they're in the kitchen. And the age-old saying about abs and getting that six-pack abs is abs aren't made in the gym.
They're in the kitchen.
They're made in the kitchen. It's based upon what you actually consume. So, Andre, back to you now.
Yeah.
Tips for our listeners on making sure they don't miss out on the nutrition element of their fitness goals.
Cut back on sugars.
In 3 words, there you go.
Start right there.
Right.
Look at what you have in your kitchen and in your cupboards and your cabinets and your pantries, and look at how much sugar is in most of them. Look at what stuff in the kitchen that is carb based, that is starch based, that is flour based, that is it. I'm almost certain if you looked at 10 items for 80% of your listeners right now, 8 out of the 10 is either sugary or carby.
All right. So when we talk about being solution driven here and trying to, because it's one of the things about sugar is that it's a highly addictive chemical that our body has been over the past number of years. Our foods have slowly been increasing the amount of sugar, and it's addictive.
Yeah.
And cutting back and even or quitting or even cutting back on sugar can have those same withdrawal effects of quitting any other narcotic. Our body goes through the withdrawal symptoms. It craves that sugar.
You get irritable. You become miserable. You go through mood swings.
Correct.
So for instance,
what are the foods that we can use to substitute the bad sugars and the bad fats and the heavy starchy foods? What can we do to actually substitute out to help make the transition from high sugary foods to low sugary foods more palatable?
All right. Let's look at sodas. Okay. So, for instance, I've met quite a few people who go, "Oh, I have to have a Coke every day. I have to have a Pepsi every day. I have to have a soda." And a good alternate to that, it would be La Crux, I think it's called.
The sparkling water.
Yes.
So going the sparkling water route, and
so you could start using that, just drinking the sparkling water if it's that fizz. I've gone a step further where I've even add just a little bit of syrup to it. So it's a little sweeter, but it's not as sweet as if I was to get a can of soda in itself. And then I'll slowly reduce what I'm adding to it until it becomes where it's almost straight out of the can, where it's low sugar. That's a good way to find an alteration to sodas. Now, when we look at something else that's sugary, like for instance cereals, breakfast cereals, I don't think a lot of people never look at the back of their breakfast cereal.
No, I stopped eating cereal many years ago after reading them.
So a lot of people have cereals in the morning, and the cereal is really high in sugar.
Correct.
Extremely high in sugar, as a matter of fact. Not to mention then you're having it with some people use sweet milk instead of regular milk, and that's more sugar. And then some people have it with the next cup of orange juice or apple juice, more sugar. So
that's more sugar.
So by the end of your morning, you're binged on sugar and you don't even realize that you've binged on sugar, and then that's where you find that crash at like 11 o'clock in the morning.
Well, and that's you're absolutely right, and that's the vicious cycle for your whole day. If your day has started on that high note, your body for the rest of the day
on the high note.
Wants to stay on the high note.
And then we already talked about people not being active.
Correct.
So now your body's going, okay, give me the sugar. I have no use for it. We put it in storage, but I want the sugar. So then you find lunchtime comes around, bing, back on sugars again, or they go to a fast food place, or they go and get a soda. Some people would, and that's why we started with the soda for the first modification. Some people will go, they had a healthy lunch, and it's fairly healthy. It's a lot of veggies, a little bit of protein, a mixed variety, but then they go and finish it off with a soda. and then
undo all the hard work has been undone with one drink, right?
Pretty much, because I wouldn't say it's undone, but it's being outweighed.
Correct. Okay.
So it's a balance as well. So now you're outweighing your healthy choices with small bad choices, but it's like a bag of marbles, right? So it may look like it's not a lot, but when you scatter it out, it covers a whole lot of area, of course. Right? Of course. So they end up doing that, and then this is at 1 o'clock now, so they just had lunch, and they find that they're crashing again at 4. Then 4 or 5, you're at work, then you leave work, then you get home, then you have dinner, and most people, again, they have a soda or something sweet with a dinner. So let's start back with breakfast. So you're trying to modify what you're eating for breakfast. Oatmeal is an excellent way to avoid it. You can make your oatmeal yourself. I'm not a huge fan of microwaves, but if you got a microwave, 4 minutes, oatmeal, a little bit of water, throw it in the microwave, 2 minutes, take it back out, mix it up, add a little bit of sweetener. You don't have to do too much. Now you're in control, so you just add a little bit in there, add a little nutmeg, maybe some cinnamon, put it back in a couple more seconds. That's it. Add maybe a little bit of creamer if you're into the cream, or a little bit of milk, just a touch of it. There you go. So now you've just changed what you had for breakfast to a healthier option where you had full control of what the ingredients were. The quicker one is those instant Quaker Oats ones. But again, if you incorporate that, where you've taken away the element of control, so now those have a certain degree of sugar in them that you have no control over. So now you'd have to now modify and control what happens for the rest of the day. So if you don't start the day off on a really high sugar basis, you'll find that you won't crash as much. But your first day of doing this is not going to be your most successful day. Your first day of doing it is probably going to be the hardest, because now your body's craving, your body's demanding these things. But by day 3 or 4, your body's adjusted. But what happens now is that, I'm going a little too far, but what happens here is that by day 3 or 4, you're at Thursday or Friday. So you're on your weekend. So you're approaching your weekend. So you start Monday. So Monday was hard. Tuesday got a little easier. Wednesday, you're finally in your cycle. This is day 3. Day 4, you did it right. Day 5 is Friday. Most people's eating habits and eating systems change on Friday. Course, yeah. So Friday comes around. Oh, it's Friday. We're going to do this or we're going to do that later. So then they've killed the progress they've made over the last 3 or 4 days for Friday. Friday comes around, they have happy hour or whatever it is that they do on Friday. Saturday comes on, they don't wake up till 9, 10 o'clock because, hey, I'm not going to work. I'm not going to get up at 6, 5 o'clock in the morning. No, I'm going to sleep. So they sleep in, they wake up late. Then it's 10, 11 o'clock. They start off the day with something quick and easy. So they've forgotten all about what they did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Quick and easy is either going to be fast food or cereal. So then, it's midday, I'll be fine. Then they just literally, it's like rehab. So when you're avoiding something, you got to avoid it for a while until your body's totally rid of it. Because the minute you introduce it back into the system, the body's going to crave it again. So then your willpower comes in. Because earlier you started about tip and you talked on mental, and I said mental comes down the line. But this is where mental comes in. So now you got to mentally go, okay, you got to be conscious of what you're doing. So now you know, okay, I'm going to have cereal. And it wasn't a healthy cereal, so you took a Lucky Charms, loaded with sugar. So you finish the Lucky Charms. Like Mario, you energetic, you're all over the place. It's Saturday midday, so you're up and down, you do your errands. You probably won't eat. The average person, when they get going on Saturday, they're going and going and going until 6, 7 o'clock. Yeah. Then they come in and you're busy on the road all day. You don't have time to cook. If you have a helper, your helper's in the week, not on the weekends. So now you're home. There's no helper. There's no food. What you going to eat? Fast food.
You touch on ultimately it requires a lifestyle adjustment. You have to actually make the significant adjustment to how you plan out and how you structure your week and where you're disciplined about. And it comes down to the discipline factor there. And we had to talk about briefly during the break about the food prepping element. What is food prepping for our listeners' sake, so they understand what this is and how this benefits their fitness journey?
Food prepping is essentially planning how you're going to eat.
But what does that mean? That means planning out how you go to the grocery store.
Yep.
That means
planning out what you have on Monday, what you're going to have on Tuesday, what you're going to have on Wednesday. Yeah. You plan it down to, I would say do 6 days. Sometimes you want a mental break. So do 6 days, and then on your 7th day, kind of be a little bit more lax, right?
Correct.
So you plan your 6 days of meals. You plan your 6 days of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You plan what you want to have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? Repetition is important. Repetition is also easy. So you can do it every other day. So let's say on Mondays you have eggs and a toast. On Tuesdays you have oatmeal. So Wednesdays, egg and a toast. Thursdays, oatmeal. Fridays, egg and a toast. And there you go. You've accomplished eating right for just your breakfast. Now, meal prepping would be you going to the grocery store and buying sufficient eggs and toast and oatmeal to cover those days, whether it's going to be for the month or on a weekly meal prep basis. And then, so now we've checked off breakfast. Then we're at lunch. Same thing. You plan what you want to eat for those days. You could plan it based on your activity level. So let's say you work out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? So then you're going to know on those days you might have a little more carb in your diet. So then you're going to go, okay, well, I'll have on Sunday I'll cook 3 chicken breasts, and I'll cook 3 steaks or fish or whatever it is that you want to have for lunch. And then I'll buy a bag of broccolis or a bag of sweet potato or a bag of potatoes. And then on those days I'm having my chicken breast, my protein with my little bit of carb and my veggies. So right. You prep for that, and then same thing for dinner. It's just planning and preparing before time, so you don't find that at the end of the day you're walking home or you're home now at 6:30 and you didn't plan what you're going to eat on Wednesday, and you go, oh, what am I going to eat? Let me grab something frozen or let me grab something quick because you've prepped. So you just take it out and you warm it up in the oven, or you can pre-cook like chicken. Let's say you're going to do baked chicken, so you could boil the chicken, season it, boil it. So it's pre-cooked. Put it up for storage. Then when it's the day of, you take it out, put it in the oven, put your sauce on it, leave it in the oven for 15-20 minutes. It's already cooked, so it'll deep fry. You put it out, put it in the fridge first to get it to cooking temperature, and there you go.
Food prepping, it is such a highly underrated element of fitness journeys, because one of the we talked about before about. This segment's about making sure people don't fail at their fitness journey next year. They actually accomplish their goal. And one of the couple of primary areas that people tend to lose sight on is injuries tend to become a situation. Once someone gets injured when they're starting their fitness journey, it puts an immediate damper. But there's another one. That is the inability to see results. And we want to try to change that element, get people to actually accomplish those results, and that means hijacking your current lifestyle. And hopefully the food prepping element is an important one. I would encourage all of our listeners to research a little bit more about what Andre just discussed there about the different elements of food prepping and planning out your meals for a week in advance, because that will give you the tools that you need not to fall victim to your previous lifestyle habits before the week gets underway. When we come back, Andre, from this break, I want to talk a bit more about some of the logistics of personal training and the gym business and people getting into the actual fitness element of 2019. I
also want to bring something up that you just mentioned about not seeing your results and how you got to deal with that.
Fantastic. As soon as we get back from this commercial break, back with more talk today right after this.
CUC advises participants in the Green Iguana Culling Program to exercise extreme caution around the CUC's poles and power lines, especially when extracting iguanas from trees or branches that are in close proximity to poles and power lines. Participants should keep all objects such as poles, sticks, or hooks away from any CUC equipment to avoid any electrical contact. For further information, please contact our customer service team at 949-5200 or via email at service@cuc.ky.
Country classics.
Well, I was born to coal miner's daughter.
On the road again. They're gonna put me in the mood.
top again.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso.
Because you're mine, I walk the line.
Well, I love them in
Country classics.
young love, first love.
You never count your money when you're sitting at the table.
If you enjoy classic country music, come hang out with Radio K-Man this Saturday, 3:30 to 6 p.m.
In the Mississippi cotton picking Delta town.
This Saturday afternoon, following American Country Countdown, 3:30 to 6 on Radio K-Man.
Just walk on by. Wait on the corner.
Country classics.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
I can tell you this.
Williams Production presents the Crab Family in Cayman, Monday, December 31st at the Lion Center in support of Adasi. Kickoff time is at 7 p.m. Tickets are only $25 and $35 at the gate. Purchase your tickets now at the Christian Enlightenment Center and Funky Dance. It's all brought to you by the Office of the Premier, Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport, Value Med Pharmacy, Cayman First, Uncle Clem's, Hides and Son, Praise 87.9 FM, Tony's Toys, and Radio Cayman. The Crab Family in the Cayman Islands, Monday, December 31st at the Lion Center.
Sometimes it takes a mountain. Sometimes a troubled sea.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio K-Man's Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in for this Thursday afternoon segment, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and we have Mr. Andre Morgan here from Train with Dre.
Hello.
Here to discuss, for the last part of his segment, helping you, our listener, accomplish their 2019 fitness goals. Now, we've touched upon some of the basics, including making sure you have increased your water intake, the importance of minimizing your sugar intake, and the importance of food prepping. That is preparing your meals, mentally preparing for your meals for the entire week so that you don't fall victim to previous lifestyle habits. Now I want to take the conversation into the actual physical realm of the goals. And Audrey, we touched upon listeners or people having patience with accomplishing their fitness goals, because ultimately when it comes down to it, people who have allowed their inactive lifestyle to compound over a number of years, that essentially for your body and your muscles accounts to a significant amount of abuse to your muscles, that they need to move, they have not moved, and they've put on a significant amount of size over the course of years. To undo that takes time. It takes patience, and it takes a lot of work and dedication.
They use size. Let's use fat. They put on fat.
All right.
The muscles, become degenerated, and you lose muscle strength, you lose muscle flexibility, you lose range of motion, and it's compounded with fat in most cases because we're not eating right. And in the cases where it's not fat, you just lose the ability to function muscularly. What specifically you said, though, that triggered me bringing this up was that seeing results. So with the New Year's resolution and that rush to get into the gym and get results and get going, you find that most people within a week and a half, they're like, I'm not seeing any changes. This isn't working. Give it time. Patience. You've been doing the opposite of working out and being fit and trying to get on a system for the last year, 6 months, maybe more. If we're talking about a person who's really sedentary, You're looking at maybe they haven't exercised since high school. After they came out of high school, they just got a job, sat down most of the time, didn't do much. So now, in order for your body to make the changes, it has to adapt. Adaptation takes time. And when you allow your body to adapt, generally we'll tell people give it 6 to 8 weeks. Your friends might start seeing small changes within a week or two, but you won't see stuff until about 6 to 8 weeks. And that's when you really see changes. And at that point, if you're following a discipline and you're using some of the tips we mentioned earlier, at that point you'll see where it will come like a flood. So like for a week you just see a drastic change, and then you might find where you go back into a plateau. But that's fine. Keep on the discipline, keep on the system, and it will come again until it becomes regularly, until you've made a fit and healthy lifestyle a habit, and not just something you're doing for a period, but something that's just a part of you, and your results will flow. And when you're looking at yourself too, look at your pants and your shirts. A lot of people don't realize how tight a specific shirt was or is. Or a good trigger point is, I had a client mention to me the other day that they had a pants that they haven't worn in forever, and they were getting ready in the morning, and when they looked in the closet, it was beside another pants that they wanted to wear, and they go, let me just try this on, because according to them they weren't seeing much results. Pulled the pants out, put it on, it just slid on and buttoned up, and they're like, ooh, look at me. The results, yeah. So there's different ways you see results, but the key thing is to be patient, allow yourself time, allow yourself more than January. We got 12 months in a year. January is only the first month. Give yourself about 3 months. I guarantee you, if you stick with a trainer, without a trainer, if you stick to a discipline for 3 months with your goal in mind, and you're doing your best, don't do anything. Don't go, oh well, I can slip up here. No, do your best, and in 3 months you should see results. You should see great results. Right? And then allow yourself time to make that journey last more than the 3 months. Make it last a year. You'd be surprised at once this becomes a healthy habit that you're doing regularly, how quickly a year and a half pass, how quickly 2 years pass.
No, you're absolutely right.
And then when you look at, I had a client, I'm talking about all my clients because I don't show them on social media, so I guess I talk about them in person. One of my clients, I have photos of her where when she started training, where she wasn't aware of how big she was before she started training. And then when she compares those photos to photos now, she's like, wow, that's me.
Yeah, no, it's...
like, yeah, that's you. And take photos, guys. That's the next one. When you're trying to hold yourself accountable, take photos. Photos, and a lot of people make this mistake. When taking photos, wear the same clothes. So if you're going to do weekly photos, every Sunday, every Friday, or whatever day you want to pick, make sure whenever you're taking your progress photos, you have on the same top and bottom that you were wearing previously. Because what happens is that the photos now become identical, so you could see where changes take place. Versus when you switch this training bra to another training bra, you won't see it. And then what you'll find would happen too, eventually when you get to 6-8 weeks or whatever progress and the changes come on, you'll find where the bra that you were wearing in January to take your progress photos don't fit anymore. And now you got to switch. That's the next indication. When you thought there was no results, that in itself is like, there you go, I'm in your face, we're changing, keep going.
Yeah. Great tip though. I mean, all those are great tips for actually ensuring people manage their results.
Yeah.
Which is such an important element. Ultimately, you want to see results.
Yep.
And as Andre mentioned, stay patient. Because it's very important you stay patient with the process. But once you start seeing results, it's like the switch turns and everything starts going in your favor at that point. And
then don't give up. Then don't be. What's the thing where they tell you when you can only see up to your nose?
I guess you don't become complacent.
Yeah, there you go. Don't become complacent. Don't get to start seeing your results and seeing how great you're looking and go, oh, okay, I can slack off. Don't slack off. Make it become a habit. Make it become something that is second nature to you. Like, one of my complaints that I hear from my clients is they could sit down and hear me going, fix your posture. How you walking? Fix your posture. So use that with your entire lifestyle. Make the changes be something you're conscious of, so that when you're doing it, you're aware that you're doing it, so that whenever you're not doing it, you will remind yourself, hey, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. 12 o'clock, hey, wait, I haven't drank my 2 glasses of water. No? Yeah, stick to it.
Excellent. Some excellent advice there, Andre. Truly excellent advice. And for all of our listeners who are trying to accomplish their or have set a fitness goal for 2019 for their New Year's resolutions, we do wish you all the best. Here's a few tips that you can use to help on your journey. As Andre mentioned, get started. No matter how small it might seem that you're doing, whether it's you're walking up and down the stairs every day, taking that extra beach walk, parking an extra block away from work, drinking, make sure you drink the necessary amount of water that your body does need. Buddying up with a friend is another great tip. If you're just getting started out, it could be motivating to have someone else to help hold you accountable, and having that running buddy, that walking buddy, whatever kind of buddy you want to call it there, definitely helps. Being realistic is another big one.
Yes.
Having a realistic goal for yourself is great, because you can actually accomplish tiny little goals, and over a course of a year, those tiny little goals do add up, and they make a huge
recommended weight loss per week is actually 1 to 2 pounds.
Okay.
At most 3. So you're looking at max for a month healthy weight loss should be 12.
10 to 12 pounds is what your average per month is.
But the average person comes in thinking, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds in your first month.
Absolutely.
That's an unrealistic goal, guys. It would be great, and you do have people that can shed 20 pounds, and we actually talked about that off air, but let's be realistic. Look at trying to accomplish the 2 pounds per week, but make sure that you make a pound per week.
Absolutely. Yeah. And one other quick point I will point on to really quick, because this is something that I mentioned earlier on in the segment, is take it easy when you do start out. The last thing you want to have happen, anybody, is getting injured. And this is where the importance of talking to a trainer, a nutritionist, does come in handy, and why we invited Andre, because he's a professional in this industry, to help design a plan that works for you fitness-wise, that can make sure you're actually doing things the proper way. Because the last thing you want to do is get injured. Chances are, if you are on a fitness journey like this, you're not at an age where it's going to be easy to rebound from injuries like this. So make sure you talk to a trainer, talk to a professional, and talk to a doctor. Make sure that you have lined up all your eggs in a row, your ducks in a row, and get going. Andre, in case any of our listeners want to get a hold of you and have any questions, how can they reach you?
You could reach me on my cell, which is 928-3420. You could reach me via email at trainwithdre.ky@gmail.com. You could reach me on Instagram at trainwithdre. You could reach me on Facebook. You could just type in Train You Fit. I should pop up, or type in Train with Dre. And yeah, those are the ways you can get in contact with me, and from there we'll talk about just getting started, like how we started this morning. Some of us, personal training can be something costly that we have to budget and plan for, and there are other ways to get in contact with a trainer and begin on your fitness journey with training advice. You can do consults. You can do weekly consults where you just meet with a trainer and discuss with them, hey, okay, this is my goal for this week. How can I get to this goal? Okay, here you go. And they send you on your way, and you follow that, and it's not as costly as having personal training sessions, one-on-one sessions. You can do group sessions. I actually had a client contact me this morning, and she was ready. She's been contacting me for the last at least 2 days a week for the last 6 weeks, getting ready for this point. And she's like, okay, I'm ready now. I have a group. There is 3 or 4 of us. I made a group. I'm adding you to the group. We want to get started. We want to get going. This is what we want to accomplish. So, and those are ways you can mitigate the cost and make it something that is worthwhile. And when you do it with a group, it helps with the second tip that you talked about. Correct. With having a buddy. So you have a buddy, you have somebody who's holding you accountable. You have a friend who, when she sees you having that Slurpee or heading to Wendy's at 8:30, because you don't want to be like, whoa, where are you going? No, you can't go to the Wendy's, So small stuff like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Andre, I know you have a lot to offer this topic, and you know what? We'll try to get you back on the show sometime in the new year.
45 minutes already, man.
45 minutes went just like that. It does go quickly. We're having fun. Thank you again, Andre. I do appreciate you coming in. And to any of those out there looking to get in touch with Andre, you can reach him 928-3420. Thank you again. When we come back from our break, we'll be meeting with the Plastic Free Cayman for those of you who are looking to make more eco-conscious New Year's resolutions in 2019. We'll be back with more Talk Today right after this.
We are Radio Cayman, and this is how we wake you up in the morning. Praise time.
Praise time on Radio Cayman.
Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I'm gonna walk them golden stairs, 'cause I know my Jesus answers all my prayers.
Praise time.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Holy Ghost power moving just like a man.
Praise time.
There's nothing to go back to. Give me Jesus in the morning. For the God of the mountain is still God in the valley.
Shout with joy to God, all the earth sing glory to His name. Praise time. Praise time.
Jesus in the morning, yeah.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Radio Cayman News, Year in Review.
I, Kilpatrick.
Anwar Chowdhury.
Martin Keith Roper.
It is a worrying development.
Not just our financial industry that is at risk, but our very existence.
The civil service is focused on correcting the failures.
Government is insisting on pursuing this ill-advised course of action.
We will answer any questions about the cruise birthing facility.
Beneficial ownership, arrests in government, cruise birthing facilities, 3 governors, 1 year. Catch an in-depth look back at these stories and more during Radio Cayman's Year in Review.
Radio Cayman's Year in Review, proudly brought to you by CUC. You've got the power. Health City, transforming healthcare, changing lives. Michael Webster of Cayman Insurance Center. Don't take chances with your family's future. And FSH Design. Let your imagination grow with FSH Design.
Lucky Slice Pizza.
It's love at first bite. Shaking your radio 3 to 6 weekdays.
Oh my God! From Radio Cayman Super Jam Showdown.
May I have your attention?
Yo, one love.
Hip hop lead act, Jay-Z.
Peace, y'all. This is Nas.
Peace. Super Jam.
Is proudly sponsored by
Lucky Slice Pizza.
It's love at first bite. Call 949-3456 or visit Cayman Pizza to place your order today.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in for today's show, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And for our last part of our show today, we'll be talking a bit more about New Year's resolutions and looking more towards the eco-conscious side of New Year's resolutions and those looking to live better lifestyles that will benefit their environment in the process. And we're pleased to have in the studio Miss Claire, Miss Linda, and Mr. Bill from Plastic Free Cayman.
Hey.
Good afternoon. Did everyone have a good Christmas?
Yes, lovely, thanks.
Any awesome gifts?
Very few gifts, actually. We're trying to go minimalisation and more about experiences than presents.
So what was any experiences that were any
well, we were a little bit spoiled and we went to Luca Brunch, so...
Well, that's not a bad experience.
That's a good experience.
How about yourself, Claire?
Yeah, brilliant. Again, I was trying to think about how I could go a little bit more plastic-free, so my kids' gifts were wrapped in newspaper print, which actually they loved. And I kind
of the cartoon section?
Yeah.
At least the cartoon section.
We actually got some newspaper that didn't have the print on it as well. We got given some of that, so that worked out really well. So all that was recyclable, which was excellent. So
nice. And Bill?
Yeah, we also wrapped gifts. We don't exchange a lot of gifts, but in newsprint, so newspaper. And we also, a lot of people got bamboo toothbrushes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was a big thing. But it's more about the memories. So we went to the beach, had a good time, swam a bit, saw the sunset.
Very nice.
Yeah.
My son got a guitar, so he was quite happy.
Oh, wow.
It was about the experiences, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That should last a long time.
It can last a lifetime, those experiences. So we're here to talk a bit about the 345 challenge, the elements of Plastic Free Cayman. We've had you on the show a few times in the past. But this time I want to talk a little bit more about being a dedicated, for our listeners, those who are looking to make the change and trying to improve their carbon footprint, or reduce their carbon footprint rather, and how they can go about doing it.
Yeah, it's often about just getting started as well. Because often someone doesn't know where to start and they may be feeling quite overwhelmed.
Of course.
Because there's actually a lot of things you can do, but it seems like really unachievable at first. So just making that first step. So I remember one of the first things I did was I was already taking my reusable shopping bags, doing quite well with that, and then basically carrying a reusable water bottle. That's a huge thing. It doesn't seem like much, but it has a really big impact. Just to not buy your single-use plastic bottles.
And it'll save you a lot of money too.
No, absolutely. I've got mine. Now we're talking about the getting started. What are the other areas when it came to like your home itself? You mentioned bamboo toothbrushes. Mm-hmm. What's the difference between bamboo toothbrushes? I'm assuming it's just the material of the toothbrush itself.
Yeah, so if you've come to some of our beach cleans, you'll find that toothbrushes are one of the biggest things that wash up on our shores, surprisingly. So having a bamboo toothbrush minimizes the plastic input into the ecosystems, and it's biodegradable and fairly cheap. So it's a simple thing to change.
And as far as cost-wise compared to regular toothbrushes, if there's any cost factor?
At the moment, they are more expensive. Okay. But I think it's a good cost, balance, really, I feel. One of the things that I thought was shocking was every toothbrush you've used. So Linda's Kamanian, she's grown up here, every toothbrush before she made the switch will be in the landfill. Like literally, all your plastic toothbrushes. And they don't biodegrade. They will be there. Some people say forever. We just don't know how long the plastic's going to be there for.
So we have toothbrushes, we have reusable bags, water bottles. What are the other areas?
Another good one is a shampoo bar. So
a shampoo bar.
Yeah, so I didn't even know they existed
until
about 2 years ago. So Ray, your nice hairstyle.
Yeah.
Instead of buying a bottle of shampoo,
yeah,
and squirting it onto your hand, then you've got the liquid. A shampoo bar is basically, it doesn't have as much water in, so it's compressed. So it just looks like a bar of soap.
Oh, okay.
And you just will rub it on your head, make a lather, and shampoo as normal. And,
so it just eliminates the whole plastic element of the shampoo bottle.
So we noticed shops here are starting to sell them. OMGI Essentials and what's the coconut? Well, they sell the coconut. I'm sure she sells the shampoo bars too, but you can get them on island.
So shampoo bars, okay.
Yep, and soap bars. Get
soap
rid of the shower gel.
Yep.
That plastic scrunchy thing. Get a flannel, a cotton flannel.
A cotton flannel.
A square cotton flannel, yep. Or face cloth.
Oh, face cloth. Okay,
yep.
yes.
So, and then you rub your traditional soap bar on it and then wash yourself. And
use that.
Yeah, and then you get the exfoliation from the cloth, or you just use your hands. And you should. A lot of those do come in cardboard boxes already instead of plastic wrap, like a soap, a shower gel, or even the hand soap by the side of the sink. You can use a bar as well instead of the squirty bottle hand soap. These are all like really small changes that can make a huge difference. Or if you really do like the squirty soap, you can buy a large bulk container and then decant that off into your smaller one by the sink. If for your guest bathroom, say you still want to use the hands, so the squirty soap.
So I'm showing my age here because hand soap, the bar of soap was all I had when I was growing up.
Yeah,
and then suddenly it was more efficient for some reason to get the other type of soap in a plastic bottle. But eliminate the plastic bottle.
I'm not sure it's more efficient or more money for the companies. But
well, there you go. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so going back to instead of just eliminating the shower gel from our bathroom usage, we have shower bags. We have now I'd mentioned before the show started, doggy bags were one of the areas that after our last show where you were on, I switched to buying the biodegradable doggy bags when I walk my dog, and Hurley sells those, so I was able to find those and felt a little bit better.
There you go.
Doing that.
Honestly, anything you start to do that will help is going to help.
Of course. And I think you mentioned a big part was just getting started.
It is, because it can be overwhelming. So again, you could start in the bathroom to make a few changes.
Yeah.
And then just knowing as well, like knowing a shampoo bar exists, or knowing that there is bamboo toothbrushes. Yeah. And then one thing I was starting to look at was the kitchen, my kitchen waste. So I've started collecting food scraps so they don't go in the bin, and then sending them to a local farmer to be composted.
Okay.
So that helps me not have to change my bin liner as often. And then from a cleaning product point of view as well, instead of using a cleaning product, it again comes in a plastic container. Everything comes in plastic.
Everything comes in plastic.
Right, so it's really hard to avoid. But I bought some bicarbonate of soda, which is like a miracle product for cleaning. It's fantastic. So it comes in a cardboard box of some bicarbonate of soda, some vinegar, and lemon juice.
I actually want to explore a bit more about that on the cleaning supplies, because you mentioned everything does come in plastic and how we can reduce on that end. We do have to go to our news break, and we come back. We have one quick caller, and then we'll re-explore the cleaning supplies.
Sure.
Be back with more Talk Today right after this.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman.
Headline. Radio Cayman's newsroom. Headline. These are the biggest stories right now.
Santa Claus wasn't the only one making deliveries on Christmas Day. Over 40 Lions Club of Grand Cayman members spent the day spreading holiday cheer and delivering hundreds of gifts to the community. Lion Cordella Cholette says it's all about giving families that may have less a little more. The Christmas Deliveries is an annual event put together by the Lions Club of Grand Cayman in partnership with a number of businesses and persons in the community who contribute to the event. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. 7 years after Germany scrapped conscription, its defense chief has said employing EU citizens is an option to fill expert posts. Army General Inspector Eberhard Zorn said the forces had to look in all directions in times of a lack of qualified personnel, such as doctors and IT specialists. The armed forces have been beset by years of underinvestment. Germany aims to increase its military by 21,000 personnel by 2025. An Italian football supporter has died of his injuries after being knocked down by a van amid violence ahead of a match in Milan against Napoli. The 35-year-old man, who was with a group of Inter Milan fans, was taken to hospital in the northern city on Wednesday evening but died in hospital. The clashes took place not far from Milan's San Siro Stadium before a Serie A game. Police said 4 Napoli fans were hurt and one of them was stabbed. And U.S. and European stock markets have lost ground again as global political and economic uncertainty continues to haunt investors. Despite the apparent recovery on Wednesday, leading U.S. indexes fell nearly 2% in early Thursday trading, following similar losses in Europe. Weak U.S. consumer confidence data for December sparked the latest sell-off. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And we have in studio the group from Plastic Free Cayman here to talk about how you can take on the 2019 challenge of reducing your carbon footprint and living a more eco-conscious lifestyle. Now, we do have a caller on the line. We'll take that call now. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
All right. I just listened to what you say about a plastic-free Cayman.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just got one question for you and the guest, right? How do you feel about everything that is plastic, every water bottle, every plastic container now, can be made from a special kind of plant called hemp or cannabis or marijuana? How do you feel about making Cayman plastic free with a certain kind of plant? Does that offend you, or is that no way, thought about?
Now, the question is about reducing plastic in Cayman despite having the ability to use a plant material to make the bottles?
No, the question is eliminating oil-based plastics and using hemp biodegradable plastic instead of
I think, there's many alternative materials. I mean, if it was legal to make other materials like plastic water bottles, then that would be awesome. Hemp is an amazing material, but at the moment, we can't have that.
We don't have the options for it at the moment. And ultimately, the goal behind Plastic Free Cayman is to reduce that the usage of the plastics that wind up in our landfills and wind up harming our environment. And if there's materials out there that have the ability to still have functional usages that we get from plastic while utilizing materials, whether it be hemp or any other plastic biodegradable material, I think it would be encouraged. But unfortunately, those currently aren't options right now.
I'd also like to add that one of the problems with bioplastics is it's still a plastic. So there's lots of other carbon sources that are being used for plastic containers, and they call them bioplastics or ecoplastics. But that's just a word. It doesn't really mean anything. It's still a plastic. So actually what's happening is it doesn't matter if the carbon base is oil or if the carbon base is a plant material, then it's still the chemical process that turns it into a plastic is still damaging for the end product in the environment. So, for example, a lot of the bioplastics that use maybe cassava or potatoes to make the plastic, it still looks like a plastic. It needs certain conditions to break down. So it only needs to have, it needs to have a certain specific temperature, a certain amount of light. And so, for example, if that ends up in the environment, in the sea, it's not getting those conditions. So it can still get ingested by an animal. It can still entangle an animal. So it's actually still not solving the problem of pollution. So, and if those plastics end up in the landfill, they create more methane than normal plastic. So actually they're worse. Methane's a stronger greenhouse gas. So actually then we have the rising temperatures and global warming impacts of that. And if we've got many different types of plastics already. We've got 1s, 2s, which are the recyclable ones here, and other ones. People are already very confused about what can be recycled and what cannot be recycled and what recycling actually means. So to add another type of plastic into that mix is very, very confusing for people. Even people like us sitting here, we get confused about what we can recycle. I go to a different place, it's a different recycling scheme. So sometimes you can collect all of the recycling together and it will be sorted somewhere else. Sometimes you have to sort it at your home. It's very, very confusing. Sometimes, say I go to Foster's and it might have a different recycling system to what's at my apartment complex. So adding another type of plastic to that mix is not actually helping the problem of managing our waste system. So as I said, if those bioplastics end up in the landfill, whether they be made of hemp or potatoes or what have you, it's worse than plastic. If we end up putting that bioplastic in the recycling, thinking it's recyclable, it can contaminate the whole batch of recycling. So then you end up with that whole batch of recycling in the landfill. So we've got to manage our complicated waste management system, I think, before we start introducing more single-use products. And essentially we want to encourage people to reduce their single-use bottles and plastics overall, and not think about substituting one thing for one disposable product for another disposable product. You've also got social issues of what was being grown before you grew that hemp or those potatoes or those cassavas. Was that food stock for a local community, and now they're selling it to make plastic bags and they've got no food. Now they have to import canned foods, which are usually high in sugar and give communities diabetes. They're dependent then on imports instead of using their own locally sourced agricultural products. So you've got a lot of social issues alongside that as well. So
it's very complex.
It's very complex.
It's a great question.
Yeah, that's a very nice question. And I didn't realize the knock-on effect that
it's
comes
a very
with.
big question. It's a very good question, and it's not an isolated question. People are asking that all over the world, but we really have to think about resource management all over. So while we're focusing on single-use plastics, we do want to think about the broader scope of sustainability and social sustainability, agricultural sustainability, waste management sustainability, and essentially less is more. We want to use less. So,
but this also can kind of put people off as well. It's such a complex business that they think, well, what's the point? And there is a small change, big impact. We're really pushing that here. I mean, as a teacher, I'm trying to get kids at school to make some really small changes, and starting with that reusable water bottle is, it's such a big thing to do, and it's such an easy thing. Just you remember your car keys, you remember your hat, remember your sunglasses, grab your reusable water bottle.
Absolutely, it's part of my lifestyle every day. Caller, thank you so much for that call. Any other comment you had on or question you had on that topic?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay.
I was wondering what was the true meaning or definition of biodegradable?
Excellent question. I'll turn it to our experts here.
That's an excellent question.
And caller, thank you so much for that.
And there's actually debate over what that does mean. So in terms of labeling, degradable, compostable, biodegradable, there's no legislation for wording and meaning. So companies can put whatever they like on their products. So there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of mislabeling where companies are manipulating consumers by saying it's eco or biodegradable when it's not actually. So I would like to make customers aware that they need to look at the product, and if it doesn't really look like it should be biodegradable, then it's probably not. Really, what truly should be biodegradable is it will break down into its component parts, like the minerals and nutrients. So I haven't got the exact scientific definition at the end of my tongue, but it should end up in carbon and smaller
back
atoms.
where it started. Basically.
Yeah, back where it started, yes, exactly. So we've got to be aware as well as of microplastics. So some things will break up, and that's how we end up with microplastics. They can be small plastics, and sometimes they're not even visible to the naked eye. So you think it's gone, but actually it's not. So you get microplastics, which are 5 to 1 millimeter. So you can still see those 1 millimeter pieces with the naked eye. And then you've got nanoplastics, which are smaller than 1 millimeter. And they're very tiny. You can only see them with a microscope. Things that come from, say, polyester clothing and fibers that break off from that. And then even plastic bottles, once they start breaking up from sun exposure or wave attrition, they get very, very, very small, and then we can't see them, but they are still there. So we've really got to think that it looks like it's gone, but it hasn't biodegraded. It's just in smaller pieces. And then we have to think about the base of our food chain, which is phytoplanktons and small animals in the sea, and they're absorbing these particles. So whilst it might look to our naked eye biodegraded because we can't see it, it is still actually a plastic. And there's scientific evidence, and there's actually videos on the internet where you can actually see they've coloured in, they've dyed the plastics, and you can see them being ingested by phytoplankton. So it's actually very, and zooplankton, sorry, and it's very scary. So we have to really, really be mindful of what does truly biodegradable mean. And it's tough because, as I said, there's no labelling requirements and legislation, even in the UK and Europe, which typically have the more robust legislation around these things. So consumers need to be really, really aware. And again, it's another complication to the mix.
Definitely.
So just refuse it, basically.
Yeah, basically, a simple note is don't buy it.
Yeah.
Don't buy those products. We got to go to a quick break here. When we come back, I want to talk a bit more about the 3-4-5 challenge for individuals and for businesses. Be back with more talk today right after this.
The holidays wouldn't be the same without a little boom from Fireworks Limited. K-Man's biggest firework discount megastore is now open behind massive equipment in Industrial Park. Fireworks Limited has a megastore full of new fireworks and offers huge volume discounts. Stock up early and save big with free gifts with every purchase and the biggest variety of products on island. Fireworks Limited is behind massive in Industrial Park with tons of parking. Open until 6 p.m. every day except Sunday, and open until 8 p.m. on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve.
The only bad workout is the one that never happens.
Make 2019 the year you commit to fitness.
Let King Sports Center put you on the right track with their Get Fit 2019 sale from December 15th to January 15th. 2-for-1 Powerhouse Gym memberships for $600 or a single membership for $325. And call them to find out how you can take an additional $100 off this sale price. 946-5464 or visit kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, providing your fitness, recreation, and relaxation needs. Remember, fit is not a destination. It is a way of life.
RC Fusion, featuring Billboard pop hit songs and more from the 70s to the 90s.
RC Fusion.
Weekdays from 10 a.m. till 12. RC Fusion.
Brought to you by Country and Western. No mess, no fuss, just the best in Caymanian cuisine.
At a price you can afford.
Country and Western now offering delivery. Call 945-4079.
RC Fusion. RC Fusion.
Headlines.
With the latest headlines.
Headlines.
All the news when you want it. Tune in to Radio Cayman for hourly headlines of the day's top stories.
One of Cayman's bright and shining young stars.
Local, regional, international.
Headlines.
Turning to international news.
Updates on the hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. Radio Cayman News.
Headlines.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Service, especially for you. Especially for you.
Four Winds Esso in West Bay, serving the West Bay community since 1969. That's over 6 decades of friendly, fast, super, and courteous service. Be it for fuel for your automobile or equipment needs, or for that quick pickup of those last-minute items for your favorite meal. It's there for you at the Four Winds Esso Tiger Market. Taste enhancers, a grand variety of snacks and drinks, or that early morning sprucer upper, coffee. They've also got a grand selection of sweets and ice cream, headache and pain relievers, paper and picnic essentials. It's all there for you at Four Winds Esso in West Bay, your friendly, fast, super courteous service centre, corner of West Bay Road and Church Street in West Bay. Four Winds Esso, 949-3467.
Especially for you.
And from all the folks at Four Winds Esso, Greg and all the staff, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And we have the group from Plastic Free Cayman here in the studio here discussing you possibly making the personal choice to make your home and your lifestyle more eco-friendly going into 2019. And we'll turn it back to Claire. Talk to us about the 345 Pledge.
Okay, so yeah, just basically getting started. So we came up with the name 345 Pledge. So we're just asking people to make just 3 changes. Choose 3 things that they can start with. You probably will find that you're doing them already. So Ray, for example, have you taken the pledge yet?
I did a few minutes ago, actually.
You did? Online?
I have not done it online.
Okay, so
I will.
So if you were to go to plasticfreecayman.com and 345 Pledge, and so we named it that as a take on our area code, telephone number 345, it's relevant to Cayman, and we're asking people to choose 3 things right now to start with. Choose a 4th in 6 months' time and a 5th within a year. So within a year from now, you'll have done hopefully 5 things on our list of suggestions, and they are just suggestions. So plasticfreecayman.com, 345 Pledge, individual pledge, and then it says, I will, and the first one is drink from a reusable water bottle. So Ray, do you do that?
I score.
Awesome. So we check that. I will refuse plastic straws.
Score.
So, if you just go in and you order your drink, can you have a apple juice or rum and coke, whatever, and just say, please no plastic straw. And hopefully they will bring you a plastic straw.
And just a quick reference to, so many restaurants have changed, and when you go to these restaurants and you see the paper straw, whether you're refusing it or not, the fact that they have paper straw as an option is a great step in the right direction.
Absolutely. So check. So Ray, you refuse plastic straws. Use reusable or a paper straw if needed.
Score.
Absolutely.
I'm on 3 already.
So you're on 3 already.
I'm on 3
and
already.
You haven't done anything yet. I will refuse single-use plastic and styrofoam containers.
You know, I failed on the styrofoam one twice
Okay,
over the holidays.
So this isn't a test. So you haven't failed.
I didn't fail. Okay, good. Well, there you go. I didn't fail.
Because you can't fail on this.
It's not pass-fail.
No, not
It's
at all.
just great.
And
that
it's
great.
also awareness. So you might think, right, I'm not doing so well on the styrofoam containers. Maybe my favourite jerk chicken stand has them. And, you know, so, I mean, there's other things you can
That's
do.
where it was. It was takeout food. I went, oh.
My daughter loves Yoshi's, but the containers, I personally don't want my food in.
Correct.
So we take our own reusable glass containers, and they are happy to put our food in there.
Now, I started doing that with Hurley's. I buy my salads from Hurley's in
Perfect.
Canada, so I guess we use those plastic containers because they're easy to
Yeah.
reuse.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
So-
That's
Yeah.
exactly small changes like that.
So
Okay.
more places are doing that. So you can work on that
So
one.
on
So
3 or
maybe in
4.
like 6 months you can work on it, and then you can.
When you're back in studio again, I will be able to safely say that styrofoam has been
Absolutely.
eliminated from my...
There you go. And just so you know as well, I mean, people might think, well, what's wrong with styrofoam? Well, it's been proven that it will leach to hot food in a styrofoam container, can leach carcinogenics, so cancer forming. And that's a pretty big thing to not know about as well.
To not know about it, it's even bigger, yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that people don't realize that.
And the other thing on the beach cleans, styrofoam is horrendous to try and pick up.
It is.
You know, we can pick up the toothbrush, we can pick up the plastic bottles, we can pick up other
Mat it
plastics.
down.
But the styrofoam just
Crumbles in your hand.
Yeah.
We recently
sticks
went
to everything. And
recently went to the Brack, and all along the bluff,
Yeah.
it looked like snow. It was just
wow.
It's very hard to clean up.
I can
once it
imagine.
enters into the environment.
and incredibly damaging for our sea life, you know, again, and for us. So you're working on styrofoam, Ray. So the next
Styrofoam
one,
we're working on.
bring reusable bags when grocery shopping.
Got it.
But what if you forget them?
Well, I do walk back up to the car most times.
So
there are the handful of times that I had to say, you know what, it is pouring outside. I'm not going back for my bag.
So I'd forgot them, and of course I'm also, people like recognise me, and I know a lot of people through teaching, so I feel like I'm always in the spotlight. So I just asked for a cardboard box as well. I was at Foster's the other day, and I just said, is there any empty cardboard boxes?
I do that at Price Right.
Yeah.
It was just at Hurley's the other day,
perfect.
that a couple times. It was at Hurley's most of the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so about 95%. I'm not failing on this one, but I just haven't reached that.
No, you're not failing.
It's awareness. It's awareness. So you're admitting it, though. The first step is admitting it and then finding the solution.
Absolutely.
So another one we're asking people to do is, as businesses are starting to take our 3-4-5 pledge, we're starting to put some decals in the windows.
Mm-hmm.
So we're asking if you can, you know, like the creperie, for example.
Correct.
I know you like going there
Yeah,
to
Kilo
eat.
Creperie, absolutely.
Yep, so they have taken the
The great
pledge. So
peoples.
if you can support places that are making the change, that would be awesome too. Use reusable utensils instead of plastic utensils.
Got it covered.
Awesome. Refuse single-use plastic bags. So it's one thing remembering your shopping bags when you go along to Foster's or Kirk's or Hurley's, but it's another thing that if you're just out and suddenly somebody, you know, they're doing you a service. They're putting the things you've bought in a bag, but it's politely saying, you know, no plastic bag, please. Or so I kind of say, oh no, I don't use plastic, as if it's like going to give me some sort of disease. Or
And
something.
they do have the paper bags now as well at certain grocery stores.
Yeah.
So
they
it's
do.
just opting for the paper.
Businesses are really coming on board. I think as soon as they start to understand or learn, you know, what we don't know, we can't change, right? So as soon as you become aware, and you know, living on an island, you know, what's beautiful sea around us, and doing all we can to protect it. 2 more. Make the switch to a bamboo toothbrush.
I have not done that yet. Now, where can I buy my bamboo toothbrush? Anywhere?
They're supermarkets. All 3 of them are selling
All right.
bamboo toothbrushes. Now you can order online if you're visiting.
Bamboo toothbrush next on my list.
They're good. They look
I'm
really
checking
nice
off the
as
ones
well.
that I've actually got covered here.
Making a
So
list.
I'm making a list. Checking it.
Christmas is over. You're early. And the last one, which everyone could do, is come and attend a beach clean with us. We do them every month. In fact, next month, January's cleanup is on the 12th of January at Barefoot Beach along North Side.
Okay.
From 8 o'clock. We don't expect you to be there at 8. It can be a drive from town.
I've done quite a few beach cleans. I've actually organized a few, so I'll check that off. But I haven't attended any of yours recently.
Well, that's okay.
So I will put that on my
We
list.
actually don't even specify it has to be. It has to be
of
ours.
course. Just
You
anyway,
can-
just get out there and pick up some garbage.
Absolutely.
That's
Even just
the-
picking up 3 or 4 pieces will help and make a difference.
Absolutely.
So, and
So
take
let me-
a friend.
I like to rattle off this list for our listeners one more time so
Sure.
that everyone can actually
Go for it.
And you can always check us out on plasticfreekman.com.
Mm-hmm.
But it's drink from reusable water bottle, refuse plastic straws, use a reusable or paper straw if you need one, refuse single-use plastic and styrofoam containers, bring reusable bags when grocery shopping, patronize establishments that support the 345 pledge, use reusable utensils instead of plastic utensils, refuse single-use plastic bags, make the switch to a bamboo toothbrush, and attend a beach cleanup and invite a friend. Easy enough.
Yeah, and just 3 of those. If you just start with 3.
That's the goal for the challenge. Let's get started with 3.
Yeah, that's the pledge that you make. And then there's an email section you can fill online, and then we'll get a record of that so we can count how many people are taking the pledge.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, you're planning to implement also a school and a workplace version of these as well.
Yep, they will come.
And when will these roughly be coming online?
Hopefully, probably by February. We just really want to get the people starting to take the individual one, and then businesses to start to take one as well. Okay. So food and drink establishments, there's a pledge they can take as well. Same place, online.
Yeah, and it's important to realize why this is so important. Our oceans are turning into plastic, and our landfill is growing by the day, and we are a small island that imports a lot of things. So it's important to be more aware of our consumption and then make small steps to take changes that will help this cause.
Fantastic. And so you mentioned February for the school and businesses. We have the local eatery one that's currently up and running.
Yep.
And now what are some of the parts of those for our listeners that may have restaurants that are looking to incorporate some of your initiatives into it?
So that would be things like only handing out plastic bags by request. So acknowledging that some customers will still want the plastic bag, but not making it the default option. And then not handing out plastic cutlery by default. A lot of people will either be going back to work or to home to eat their takeout, so they actually don't need that disposable cutlery in there anyway. So it's to put the onus on the customer to ask for it rather than the default being for all the staff to hand it out. So a lot of this is about staff training actually, and getting them used to waiting for the customer to ask for that.
Yeah, so that's the thing. They are offering a service, and that's wonderful. But it's now time to realise that the things that actually you're offering are not actually being helpful.
No.
And doing that in a nice, polite way.
The price of convenience, right?
So the 5 for the wheel, we will only serve straws upon request. We will allow customers to bring in their own to-go containers. We will have reusable cups instead of single-use plastic ones. And again, just 3 things from this list. We'll get started. Yep. Having a water refill station, we were just actually at Cafe Amazon across the road, and they have a water refill station with some reusable plastic cups.
Perfect.
Or we did fill up our bottles there, so that's excellent. And where possible, source some locally grown produce. That will help as well.
Absolutely.
And then we won't automatically add plastic cutlery, as Linda was saying. We won't automatically give out plastic straws. We won't serve food or drink in styrofoam containers. We won't offer single-use plastic sachets or packets. Those little ketchup packets that sometimes they throw in 20 of them.
Yes. They come in massive bulk.
Yep. And then not handing plastic bags out, as Linda said. So,
and we're really proud of the restaurants that have taken the pledge and jumped on board. There's some phenomenal restaurants out there that
which restaurants have taken that? Let's give them some airtime right now.
So, yeah, absolutely. So we've got Cayman Creperie, which includes Lucky Slice and Mojo. Right. And we've got Pico Cayman, the one around the corner in a Digicel building. Jesse's Juice Bar and Southwest Collective just took it, so that's excellent.
Very nice.
Tucker, out in East End. They've been doing great things for a long time, actually. I think, and in fact, I believe they were the first to switch to the paper straws.
Oh, wow.
And then Vivo up in West Bay, they've taken the pledge. And Sausha, so at Art Nest, they've got a little cafe there. So I'm hoping Cafe Amazon, we just went in and had a little chat with them. So yeah. But even places like Kaibo, who have reusable cups and they have paper straws, they've not taken it yet, but they're doing great things. Yeah.
It's great. It's great that the businesses are coming out. Ultimately, culture change is needed in this area, and it starts small. No culture changes will happen overnight.
Exactly.
So it is, and all the best with the 345 pledge and getting more businesses. Now, you actively now recruiting more businesses to get involved in this?
Sure, we'll kind of wait until Christmas is over and done with, because obviously they've been incredibly busy.
They have
and
been.
we've also been working on trying to get it live on the website, so you can go in and we can then see who's taken the pledge.
Fantastic.
So that's all happening. So actively recruiting, yeah, we're talking about it. We're hoping that they hear it on the radio. They might say to us, "Hey, we're doing all these things already," and they'll take the pledge, because if we can make individual changes and if we can have businesses making changes, even if our government isn't making any changes yet, it's still going to have an impact.
It's still having an impact.
I mean, Jamaica, for example, they've just literally effect 1st of January, they've banned styrofoam, plastic bags, and plastic straws. The government has taken that step.
It's a big step, bold step, but needed.
It is, and it is needed.
It's the most efficient way to minimise this problem and start managing it. But with lack of government will, it's really up to individuals and businesses and to take responsibility ourselves. So the pledge is great because I can go into say Vivo and I know that they're not going to give me a straw, so I don't feel uncomfortable all the time saying please no straw, no straw. And then they are supporting me by not handing out those straws, and I feel comfortable going there. Or if I go to Creperie and I want to take out crepe or pizza, I know I can just take my own reusable container and I don't have to ask them will they accept that. I know already they will accept it.
We also we get onto the Plastic Free Cayman Facebook page, we also get people asking us, where do you recommend? So tourists are coming down and they actually want to know who's making changes and who's doing a good thing. So that is awesome.
Fantastic. So one more time, what is your website?
plasticfreecayman.com.
And if you have any questions at all, they can reach you at email address?
plasticfreecayman@gmail.com or info@plasticfreecayman.com, and then just send us a message through Facebook or Instagram.
Okay. Very nice. Thank you so much again, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thanks.
Happy holidays.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
On that note, we do need to call it a wrap for our talk today this afternoon. Thank you to all of our loyal listeners in Radio Cayman Nation and to our guests from the Hope for Today Foundation, Train with Dre, and Plastic Free Cayman. Tune in tomorrow as we continue our features on New Year's resolutions, featuring the Cayman Island Development Bank on financial planning, and Dr. Alexandra Bodden on enhancing our personal and professional relationships. I'm Raymond Singh. God bless and have a great week.
Voice of the Cayman Islands, Radio Cayman.
We love our listeners.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.